YouTube viewers, Rectangular back, this time with an action figure review. So I was able to get my hands on the Funko Fantastic Mr. Fox Legacy Collection. Consists of 4 figures. You've got Mr. Fox, the Rat, Kylie, and Ash. So I'm going to be reviewing each one of these figures, and we're going to do them in numerical order. Here we have number 2 in the series, Rat. This was voiced by Willem Dafoe in the movie. Very cool character. Really happy to get this figure. The only villain that appears in animal form. The rest of the villains in the movie are humans, so probably won't see those if they do decide to make a second line. It comes with a knife and a bottle of cider. Very cool packaging, very similar to what we were getting in the Marvel Legends Infinite series and the Star Wars Black series from Hasbro. You can reuse these boxes if you want to save your figure in the box, or if you want to resell them. And on the back we have the other figures in the wave. I forgot to mention these were sculpted by Gentle Giant Studios, and they did a really good job. Like the overall packaging design where you can see the figures or the characters from the movie. And yeah, I really like the window. It's got a nice little scene. The background there, it's actually Mr. Fox in the background against the tree. But yeah, let's go ahead and get him out of the package and get a closer look at him. First, I want to go over the accessories that the figure comes with. You can see the little knife that he has here, and I think it's just silver plastic with a little bit of brown paint on the handle, and nothing real fancy about that. There's a little bit of extra plastic there on the tip, on the end of the handle, so I'll have to scrape that off. But yeah, not too shabby. And then he comes with his jug of cider, and it says Cuvée 2006. I think it's French, don't know what that means. And then he comes with the same figure stand that Mr. Fox comes with, where it's got one peg a little bit larger than the other, so it's foot specific, and he's probably going to need that because he's got very spindly legs. So let's go ahead and show the figure now. Here we have Rat out of the package with both of his accessories, and I was having some trouble with the figure stand that he comes with, so I had to end up using the stand that came with Mr. Fox. I don't know why. I don't know if it's the stand is not, the pegs are not wide enough or what, but I just had way too many problems trying to get him on there. But on this stand he seems to be okay. The jug of cider does fit in his hand with some difficulty. You have to kind of loop his thumb into the handle, and he doesn't have any problems holding the knife. But if you if I tilt that his hand down, the jug will probably just fall out of his hand. So I'll go ahead and just take the jug out now so we can get on to the review. And yeah, very cool figure. He is top heavy, just like Mr. Fox, so he's pretty much going to be damn near impossible to have displayed without the stand. But they did a really good job on the stripes on his sweater. Just a little blemish there on the back. I don't know if it's fuzz or what. Now it looks like it's just a blemish on the paint. And there was some residue from the tape holding in the jug, so I had to try to rub that off. It was kind of a pain. So note to toy manufacturers, use have a piece of plastic in between the tape and the accessory, otherwise you get residue on it. So I think they did a good job with his eyes. He's got those beady red eyes, and looks like they did a similar thing with Mr. Fox where they sculpted his lower jaw separately, but it's not you can't open it, you can't articulate that jaw, and he does have the single tooth sticking down. And yeah, it's pretty cool. He's got like some textured, I don't know if you can see the textured lines that are on his sweater, so it looks like actual cloth, so that's pretty cool. Then he's got his little buckles in his, or belt loops in his pants, and some wrinkles there in the legs of the pants. So pretty cool sculpt. And then looks like the fur, you can actually see some of the sculpted lines there, and it's got some shading there for the ears. Really cool. Like the attention to details, you can see his teeth sticking out there. And they put a little bit of brown paint on his feet. Hopefully that's showing up on camera. Pretty good. I like the sculpt they did on his feet. Look like actual rat feet. And then of course he's got peg holes to keep him on the stand. Actually he has a little bit better articulation than Mr. Fox, because Mr. Fox has that a little bit higher collar. He has the same ball jointed head, but you can get a better range of motion out of it. You can look down better, which is good because he's tall, and of course side to side, so really like that. And then he's got the ball hinged arms. The materials is stiffer or harder plastic, so it's a little bit harder to articulate at times. You kind of have to break him in, but you can get his arms pretty far straight out, so I like that. And he does have, I think Mr. Fox has the same thing, where it's kind of like the Hasbro joint on the Star Wars figures. It's single jointed elbow, not a whole lot of bend there at the elbow, but it does hinge back and forth just a little, not nearly as much as, say, Star Wars Black Series or Female Marvel Legend. And then he's got the rotation at the wrist, and same thing on the other side. His arms are pretty, they are thin, so I'm kind of hesitant to, you got to be careful not to break it. It feels like it's sticking quite a bit. And then again, rotation there. Really good range of motion in the ab ball joint there, so I like that. You can get him in some pretty dynamic poses. And then he does rotate side to side at the waist as well. It's just, you know, all hinged up in the midsection there. I don't think there's no actual waist rotation. And I'll pop him off the stand real quick so I can show his leg articulation. So he can spread his legs a little bit further than Mr. Fox, and you can see they're super thin, and he doesn't have a whole lot of range of motion other than to, you know, out. You can't really lift him up too much. It would have been nice if they used a softer material there so he could lift his legs up higher, but that's pretty much all you're going to get. And then same with the knee, it does kind of hinge back and forth a little bit. You can see that rocking back and forth, but not a whole lot forward and back, so that's a little disappointing there. You know, I think you could probably shave it, and you could probably get a little bit better range, but looks like the left leg moves a little bit better than the right. It's just the plastic's just sticking down so far there on the bottom. And then he does have a rotation here at the lower leg, and then he has hinged feet, and they've got really good range of motion there at the foot. So, you know, if you are able to pose him off the stand, you can get him in some pretty cool sneaky poses. assuming he doesn't tip over, because his head, basically from the middle of the chest up, is where all the weight is on the figure. So very cool. And let's not forget the tail. It's on a ball hinge, so it can rotate 360, and then it hinges back and forth all the way up and down. It's kind of stiff, don't want to break it. Okay, and yeah, there you go. So very, very cool. Not a whole lot of shading there in the tail, but or in the black, which I wouldn't expect it, but he does have, like I said, paint detail in the ears, which is cool. And yeah, I'm not going to be able to get him to stand up without the stand, so let's do a size comparison. Here we have Rat next to some other 6-inch scale figures. Got the Star Wars Black Series Han Solo on his left, the Mr. Fox from the same series on his right, and further down we have the Marvel Legends Cyclops from the Jubilee wave of Marvel Legends. And you can see he's a little bit taller than Mr. Fox. He stands just shy of 7 inches at the ear, so just edging out Mr. Fox by a tiny bit, but I think he looks very much like he did in the movie. He was taller than Mr. Fox, which was kind of odd, but I think they did a really good job on him, and hopefully you guys stay tuned for the next 2 figures in the series. And if you liked the video, please hit the thumbs up, share with your friends, subscribe if you haven't already, and I always love hearing back from you guys, so please leave a comment below. Alright, thanks for watching. I'll talk to you guys later.
He went off to Congress and served a spell, fixing up the government laws as well. Took over Washington, so we hear tell, and patched up the crack in the Liberty Bell. Davy Crockett, serving his country well.